Welcome back to Surviving and Thriving, where we share with you the things that we have learned as we have transitioned our family from struggling to survive disease to thriving right smack dab in the midst of it. In the hopes that something that we share with you will help you, enlighten you, and encourage you as you transition your family from struggling to survive disease to thriving right smack dab in the midst of it. Where are you at in this walk, in this roller coaster of life, dealing with health issues, right? Overcoming, conquering health challenges. Where are you at? Are you at a place where you're doing good? You've been really stable. You're feeling strong on the inside as well as the outside. Are you at a place where, probably a little higher than you normally are and it feels real good, right? Energy surging through you, doing really well. You haven't done this well in a while. Or at a place where you're coming out of something. You ain't all the way out. It's getting brighter, but it feels good because you're coming out. Or maybe are you at a place where this fight's been long, this fight's been hard, and you tired. You holding on. You going through the motions, you're doing what you got to do, you're trying to live your best life in the middle of it, but you're not really actively believing to get better or working towards getting better. You ain't gave up hope, but you're not active in your belief and in your faith, right? In your effort. Or maybe, you're at a bad place, a down place. Your faith could be strong, but it's a dark season. Or you could be in a dark season and emotionally, right? It's hard for you right now. And it's hard to hang on and hold on. I don't know, anywhere in the spectrum, where are you at? Once you take the time to locate yourself, be honest with yourself. This has nothing to do with what somebody may think of you or how somebody else may think of you. You ain't even got to tell nobody. Only person who got to come up with a decision about where you at and locate yourself is you. Be honest with yourself. You know the stuff that you don't tell nobody. It doesn't have to sound superhero and super strong and super spiritual, because most likely it might not be. But just be honest and real with yourself. And your real may be, you know what, Tammy, I really can't be honest right now because, it hurts too much to think about it. Well, great, because we both know where you are, right? And that's locating yourself. That's being real. If it hurts too deep, hurts too much, don't open that door, but we at least know what door you at, right? Locate yourself. You need that because if you don't locate yourself, you're going to get something out of this. You may walk away and say it's really good or, you know, whatever. You may not like it. It may upset you because, it's dealing too real. But if you locate yourself, you're going to be able to abstract more out of this. And I'm hopefully here to help you, help myself, right? Help us all, right? As we share. Now, let me tell you this before we dive any further that this is going to be a two-part thing, okay? There's two things that I need to tell you. One we're going to talk about today, and then next month when you get the video, we're going to talk about the second part, okay? They're two kind of different things, so I really need you to watch them, and I think that January, February, and March videos are going to be really important for you to watch and really helpful for you and me, for us all, right? So this year, every year we have a lot of challenges, everything, a lot of stuff come at us, things we expect, things we don't expect. But for this year, okay, I think it's really important that we aggressively pursue our health. We have got to be aggressive in pursuing our health. Now, let me tell you something. I don't know about you, okay? I know a lot of people experienced a lot of people dying during the pandemic. We did too. 2022 had a lot of deaths still, right on into 2023. And it's not been easy, but I gotta tell you, I like to travel. I just prefer to not to have to travel because of funerals. I like to see old friends and old family. I just prefer to see them on a good note. How about a family reunion or a get together or let somebody get married or something? But why it got to be on a sad occasion, right? So we need to stop some of these sad occasions. But I'm going to tell you the instruction that I received, and I think that it would be helpful for you all. Pursue your health. Aggressively pursue your health. So we're going to talk about aggressively pursuing your health. Now, when you start talking about aggressively pursuing your health, different personalities can take that different ways, right? It's possible to hear aggressively pursue your health, and then some people are all in, you're going to go all out, and then you feel like you can't rest, you can't do, and you're going to overdo it. Aggressive does not always mean, and we're going to talk about being aggressive, but it does not always mean to overexert, to overdo and harm yourself. Okay? So, in the aggressively pursuing yourself, I want to start with this. Don't take yourself to a place because you're overdoing, overworking, overtrying, that you're overexhausting yourself. Don't deplete your strength. Don't deplete who you are emotionally, mentally, spiritually, because you're pushing on all ends. Part of aggressively pursuing is a little rest and relaxation. You need some rejuvenation time. Okay? You need to learn how to Shabbat. Take a day to chill, relax, refresh, and renew. Because if you don't, you're going to wear yourself out and you're going to take yourself you don't want to go. And oftentimes, right, you guys have heard me all the time talk about we have to push. Sometimes you got to push to even find out where you are because you can feel like your body don't want to get up, right? But when you push through it, you find out, oh, I got a little energy. It can, get that blood circulating. You go, oh, I can get up and go, right? So we are constantly having to determine how far to push. And that's a hard thing to determine on any given day at any given moment, right? But with that, don't overwhelm, overload, and feel like if you're resting, you're not aggressive. Okay? Part of it is balance. And you need to make sure you're not depleting your body or taking yourself to a place that is hard to get out of. Because you can do it for a while, but eventually it gets harder and harder. And you don't know what the future lies, and your body is going to need all the strength that it needs and that it can have to get you through the year. So don't take yourself to a place of zero. Don't hurt yourself like that. Okay? So let's talk about aggressively pursuing. All righty? So what does that mean? That means that you need to be actively engaged in going after your health. Every way that you know how. We know about, you hear me talk about this all the time. You can go back to any video over these years and I'm always talking about good water, good air, getting out in the sunlight, in the cool of the day. Don't go out there in 114-degree weather if you live in a hot place and then be trying to get some sunlight and pass out somewhere or cause yourself some issues. Go out in the early morning, go out in the evening, get you some of that sunlight, some of that warmth, because that good sunlight is good for you. You'd be surprised a lot of stuff that it does for you, right? Like people dealing with fungus with their toenails and stuff, because fungus like to grow in dark, wet areas. They need to go outside with some sandals on. Yeah, it ain't gonna be all that pretty looking at your feet, but it'll help deal with some of that fungus in your feet. Just one aspect of it, right? But we need sunlight, right? Good water, good air, good food, good nutrition. So you take your supplements, right? You do your drinks or whatever it is that help you to get the nutrition that you need to get in. You try to eat better, eat healthier, as far as it is within your reach too, right? And with that, you guys, a lot of times we talk and it's, you hear about eating better means stop this and do that, right? Instead of focusing on what the not to do or what to do, right? Just focus on making a good decision. Remember we talked about that before? One step at a time, one punch at a time, one round at a time. Just take the next step. Worry about what you're eating right now, right? So if that thought comes, I want to go eat, a whole bag of cookies, especially if you're an emotional eater, right? Just tell yourself I ain't gonna eat a whole bag of cookies and then go make a good decision. Like, you know what, I'm not gonna eat this whole bag of cookies, but I am gonna eat half an apple. That'll help deal with that sweet tooth, but yet you're getting nutrition in, right? So instead of always drinking juice, say, you know what, I'm gonna drink this cup of water, right? Like I have some ginger and turmeric tea, right? We soak ginger and turmeric in water and lemon, and I drink it. And I do this every day, pretty much. And I normally would put, and back in the past, I would put sugar in it. But then I realized, you know what? I'm drinking this a lot and I'm getting all this unnecessary sugar and calories in. So you know what I do? I drink it now and I just don't put nothing sweet in it. I might put a dab of honey in it every now and again. But then I start picking and choosing, right? If I'm going to put in some sugar in my body, at least let me get it in a way I'm going to enjoy it a little bit better, right? So I pick and choose the sugar that I'm going to get. So just take one step at a time. When you're making a decision, make one decision at a time. You don't have to look at it in the whole totality of the day. Just look at it in one decision at a time, right? Okay, you know, I got my plate. I want to throw down this food, look good, but I'm going to go get a little smaller plate. Because if I fill up that big plate, that's way too much. I'm going to get a little smaller plate. And whatever goes on this plate, I'm going to throw down on and enjoy, but I'm not getting any seconds. Just make one decision at a time, one meal at a time, one drink at a time. Make one decision at a time. And if you choose to go off, you know, and do something that, you know, probably ain't the best thing for you, be moderation. Be disciplined in how you do it. And stay away from the stuff you can't be disciplined in. Y'all know my relationship with Oreos, right? I don't know how to just eat one, right? So I either stay away from it or I take one and tell my family, take this bag and don't bring it back. And let them put it somewhere where you can't go find it, right? So just take one decision, one good step at a time, okay? So we know to eat right, do right, exercise. You may not be in the best position to exercise, but you can stretch your legs in the bed. And if you can't stretch your legs, somebody can stretch it for you. Do what you can where you are. You know, if you're in the kitchen, you washing dishes or you cooking or something like that, you can lean over and stretch. You can do a couple leg lifts just where you are. It means to walk, you know, sometimes, you know, I've had to do this recently where, you know, it's a struggle physically, but I'm not going to lay in this bed all day. I can feel my muscles start to tighten up. So you know what I do? I tell my family, I'll get one of my kids, I'll get my husband, I say, set a 45-minute timer. And every 45 minutes I get up and I have to walk around the house, the inside of the house. And sometimes I don't even go outside my room. I just walk around my room. Depends on where I'm at and how I am. And if it's not a walk kind of time, at least I can stand. And then when I'm done and I did my few minutes of that, I might sit back down or lay back down or go somewhere else. But you know what I say? Put on another 45-minute timer. And I do that all day long. And sometimes I find the next day I got more energy and more strength. Because sometimes that bed, you know, it can draw your energy and your strength out of you. The bed can weaken you. And sometimes it's just the act of let me get past this horrible feeling of trying to move my body. So you do that for a day and the next day you find you might be a little stronger because you were able to move past that barrier that was trying to keep you down and in the bed. Okay? So aggressively pursue your health. Now, sometimes you know what that means too? That means you got to educate yourself. That means start learning what you need to learn, finding new ways of doing stuff so that you can prepare yourself for what is to come, or so that you can better be in a position to help yourself in the future. That means, you know, learn about some different ways of getting good nutrition or learn about aromatherapies or, you know, rubbing on oils or learn about other treatments out there. There's a lot of natural things that you can do. You know, I've talked to you guys about hyperbarics before. But there's a whole lot of other things you can do that deal with the electric magnetivity of your body, right? I didn't know how to say it properly, but yeah. You know, dealing with the electric magnetivity. I guess that's the best way I can come up with it on the spot. But there's a lot of other things out there. Try some other things. Some of that also means when aggressively pursuing, it also means, you know what? Pray. Declare and decree and speak over your body. It means to actively engage in believing and hoping and having faith for your future. It also means, right, to sow seed and believe God. Do everything you know to do within your power. But it doesn't mean to overwhelm yourself. You got to balance that out with rest. It means to prioritize your life. Maybe to eradicate some things out of your life for a season, right? Lower that schedule a little bit so you can have more time to rest and to heal and to function, right? It also means have some enjoyable time. You need time to yourself. All throughout the Bible, we see that the importance of time to yourself. Jesus had time to himself. He was still away to have time with himself, right? But then what do we see? We see Isaac, right? Sitting on a hill looking off, spending time with himself. Then he looked up and saw his wife, right? To be. But all throughout the Bible, right? Then we also see that time with God is important. Enoch, he walked with God, right? All throughout the Bible, you can see where there's people who spent time in prayer, spent time in fasting, spent time with God, right? Adam and Eve, they walked with God in the cool of the day. That's refreshing and it rebuilds you because the spirit of a man could sustain him in his sick bed. So you need to keep that inner man, that inner spirit strong. And you get that with spending time with God. But when you spend time with yourself, you actually get to think and you'll be surprised how answers come. You get to figure some things out. And I'm not saying spend time and worry. I'm just saying do some stuff for you. And you'll be surprised the peace that come over you. How sometimes answers will come. You could be doing a puzzle, right? You can be going for a walk. Okay? So this year, aggressively pursue your health, whatever that means to you. Give it all you got. Okay? One step at a time. Make good decisions this year. All right? I hope something in there was helpful for you. Remember, in all things, at all times, do you check us out next month because that's going to be really good. Until next time, bye.